So today we will discuss about some of the different kinds of models. So before I actually show you some things which are already prepared, okay, let me just share some of the things. So is this file visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and I think yes. Now here we have a lot of good space, so we can just say that x1 leads to y1. Okay. Another is x1, x2 leads to y1. Okay. Is this fine?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
One, x2, a lot of these will lead to y1. Okay, so now this one is called as multiple linear regression. Okay, why? Because we have a lot of independent variables and all these lead to this output. Okay, similarly we can have something like this: x1, x2 leading to y2. Okay, x1, x2 leading to y3. Now I will just say that you can just write like this.
Yes, sir.
Is this thing clear? Can you understand this one? That we can have so many things like this, and all these are leading to here. Now I'm making this one bold, or rather I will also make them in red color. Okay, so here if we combine all of these, then it becomes something like x1, x2, y1, y2, all of these. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is called as regression, multiple linear regression, and this is what you have already seen, right? So when you have lot of different outputs in one equation, you can just write like this, okay? That x1, x2, all these lead to y1, y2, and many other outputs. Okay, so which means whenever somebody says that lot of independent variables, lot of things will lead to lot of outputs, you can always break them down into separate equations. What will happen if you have something like this: x1, x2, many things leading to m, leading to 1, y, which means all these will lead to m and these will lead to y. Okay, and here even this m1, even you can have many more also here. Huh? Similarly here you can have many more. Can you understand this one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this means that
Yes, sir.
effect of all of these x1, x2 and many more, it doesn't happen directly. It doesn't give rise to y1 or y2 directly. Okay, but it is rather transferred through m1, m2, m3 and many more such things. Okay, now this kind of effect is called as mediation. Okay, so this doesn't mean that if you try and find out some effect of these directly on these, you will not find. Okay, this effect might be there, but this effect would be less. Okay, rather than this indirect effect. Okay, this is called as indirect effect because this effect is coming through these mediators. These are called as mediators.
So, sir, we can see that M1 and M2 like explain the variation in a better way.
Correct. So in fact, this variation in y1 and y2, okay, as a result of x1 and x2 is actually explained better by m1 and m2.
Yes, sir.
So, and if we want to show it as a conceptual diagram, then I'll show you how it is actually shown. Huh? For that, I will show you this file. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me make this one full screen. Here, don't see this one, rather this. So here, this is x, this is m, and this is y. Okay, here they've written is mi. I means these m can be many. Okay. In fact, these x can also be many. Okay. So here we can have a lot of x also. And if we have many y's, then how can we write? We will just treat all of these as different models. Okay. X, x1, x2, x3, x4, xn. These will come through different m1, m2, m3, m3. And then for first of all, you will do it for y1. Then next time we'll do it for y2, then y3, then y4, and conceptually we can write that yes, this is what we are testing. So this one is called as indirect effect, and this is called as direct effect. Okay, and the importance of this M is such that this indirect effect is more than this direct effect. Okay, only then we can say that this effect is actually mediated by this particular variable.
Sir, can you explain about the part that where this mediating effect is more than the direct effect? Can it happen that there is a single variable x and there is a direct effect on y also, and there is an effect which is mediated by the variable m also?
Yes, why not? Certainly yes. Okay, so yes, it can happen. Okay, like for example, okay, let me just take one of the examples that I've taken in one of my research papers. Okay, see here, this X is let's say mindfulness. Okay, and this M is mindful consumption. Okay, and this is Y is called as life satisfaction. Okay, so mindfulness directly actually impacts life satisfaction. Okay, but this effect is explained better when we have mindful consumption in between. Okay, so here both of these effects are significant. Okay, I'm not saying that this effect is not significant, but this effect, this indirect effect through mindful consumption is greater than this direct effect of mindfulness on life satisfaction. Okay, so both of these are significant, both of these are important, but this effect, this indirect effect is more, and that is the reason why we can say that mindful consumption acts as a mediator between mindfulness and life satisfaction.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
So similarly, in your models also it is possible. Okay, that that direct effect would be there, but this mediator will explain this effect better. That is the reason why we are saying that yes, this mediator is there.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now there is another kind of model, which is this one. Here, this direct effect X leads to Y. Okay. This is different for different values of this W. W is a different variable. It is not a mediator. Okay. So this is, for example, let me just take another example. I mean, the similar example. Let's say mindfulness impacts life satisfaction. Okay. So I'm saying that mindfulness impacts life satisfaction, but this effect is more for those people who meditate. Okay. So W has, let's say W has three values. One value is that somebody doesn't meditate. Okay. Second is that people meditate, but they do not meditate regularly. Third is this, that there are people who meditate regularly. Okay, so for these three values of W, this effect of mindfulness on life satisfaction is different.
So,
Yes.
so can we say that W here, that is meditation here, is a tuning factor between X and Y?
No, this is called as moderator.
Yes,
This
sir, that
W is
is,
called as moderator.
yes, sir, and that is doing the tuning, no? That if the person is not meditating, then the result will come differently. If the person is
Yes. Yeah. In other words, yes, you can say that also. Okay. What does this mean? This means that this effect of mindfulness on life satisfaction, this effect is different for different values of Y. For W, different values of W.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this W is called as moderating variable.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can
Okay.
X and W be related, or they have to be different?
Which one?
Uh, can W have an effect on X, or can X has an effect on? I mean that can they have a relationship between them like X and W, or do they have to be different for W to be a moderating variable?
See, these should be different. Why? Because if they are related, okay, then they will have a different relationship. Then probably W, it may not be W, it may be a mediator. Right? See, if there is a relation, then you will get something like this. here all of these have certain relationship, okay, but in the other one, okay, this one is referred as model 4, okay, but in model 1 here we have W, and this W and X are actually not related. Generally what happens is that, you know, this W will have it would be a categorical variable. Okay, for example, you know, this may be gender, it may be age, it may be something else, okay, which will generally have categorical values. Okay, but it is not necessary that it should always have categorical values. Okay, but generally what we have seen is that most of the time W has categorical values.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so this may be, you know, some kind of demographic variable, or maybe you know, in marketing researches we can say that, you know, W may be a product category. Okay,
And
W may be you know,
the income rate.
industry type. Yes, W can be income. Okay, people's income. Okay, so right. Similarly, you know, W can be you know, what kind of let's say involvement type. Okay, whether the product has high involvement or low involvement. Okay, so W can be something which is categorical in nature. Okay, for example, earlier I have taken an example of coronavirus with all of you, right? So if I say that if somebody has coronavirus, okay, the impact of this, the outcome is generally deteriorated health, right? So that means the health actually gets damaged, right? Now this damage to health is actually moderated by the immunity. Okay, so if somebody has higher immunity, then this damage would be different. If somebody has lower immunity, then this damage would be high. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So like this, we can also have two moderators here, isn't it? So, you know, similarly, we can actually have different kind of relationships between moderators also. Okay, but for you, what is important is that, you know, you try and understand. Okay, so for you, what is important is that you understand what is this moderation. Okay, so this is called as moderation, and this model 4 is called as mediation. Okay, now, you know, there can be different kinds of relationships also. For example, there can be moderated mediation also. Okay, like in this case, you have this as the causal variable. This is something which is an outcome. Okay, so you can just simply call it an outcome variable. This is causal variable. This is a mediator, and here this is a moderator. Okay, so this moderator is acting here. Okay, so in another model, this moderator can act here. Moderator can act on this one as well as this one, or maybe on this one and this one, right? Similarly, we can have different other models. Okay, but what you need to do is that you need to find out that what is an X, then there is a Y, okay, and what can mediate those relationships. Okay, and if you think that these relationships can be different for different moderators, then there is no problem. Okay, you can analyze that also. Okay, so how you will analyze is something which I'll explain you later. Okay, but for now you just understand that yes, all these things can happen. Okay, here these are two mediators in sequence. Okay, remember earlier it was mi, right? Mi means all of those are parallel, means there is m1, m2, m3, m4, m5, but here these are in sequence. So x leads to m1 as well as m2. M1 also leads to M2 as well as directly to Y, and M2 leads to Y, and this. Okay, so here this whole sequence, this effect through, you know, both of these mediators, this should be higher than this direct effect and this indirect effect as well as this x m1y, both of these. Okay, then we say that yes, this particular relationship of x m1 m2y, this holds true. Okay, so similarly we can have many other kinds of models. Okay, my only reason for showing all these models was that while you are trying to create your own models, while you are actually doing your review of literature, you should not be constrained कि ये ऐसे ऐसे कैसे sequence में आएगा या parallel होगा या किस तरह से होगा. Okay, all these things are possible. Okay, and you will be able to analyze all these things. Okay, in fact, you know, in some of the papers that I've seen, I think one of the group has shared with me some of the papers. Okay, so in fact, you know, those people in only one of the papers, those authors actually analyzed all these things using, you know, simple regression. Okay, which is actually not right. Okay, for this you actually need to do something else. Okay, where you actually need to analyze all of these equations simultaneously. Okay, you cannot just say that, you know, first we'll test this, then we'll test this, then we'll test this. No, because here you are not testing the presence of other variables. Okay, so there is a method using which you can actually test whole of this model together. Okay, and gradually I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, but as of now you just focus on creating your model. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes,
doubts?
sir.
Yes, sir.